Welcome back to Red Letters Rewind, where faith meets the field and every play tells a bigger story. This weekend, man, it was rough. We saw some games that'll haunt fan bases for a long time. Last second heartbreaks, questionable calls, and teams that came close only to watch it slip away. Started off Friday night with Miami, with the last second chance to kick a field goal, send the game to overtime, to bring out the victory, only to come up short with an interception. Not far behind, we had Mississippi State. Similar circumstances, but they could have kicked a field goal to win the game in the swamp against the Gators. Interception. Yes, another heartbreaking defeat. We saw Auburn and Kentucky lose home games in overtime. Texas Tech and USC were hoping for playoff runs, only to come up in defeat. This week, we're talking about something that every athlete, every coach, and every fan has felt. Heartbreaking losses. The kind of loss that sticks with you. The kind that gives you everything, but it wasn't enough. The kind where silence in the locker room is louder than the roar of the crowds. But here's the thing. God's not absent in these moments. Sometimes the heartbreak is exactly where God does his best work. Let's start with you players. You put in the hours, you lift weights, off-season workouts, you run, you study film, you sacrifice your weekends and your early mornings and your late nights, all for one goal. That's to win. We all want to win. You play to win the game. Then you come up short by one play, by one call, by one mistake. You know what? It's okay. Even Jesus wept. Feeling the pain doesn't mean you lack the faith. It means you care deeply about what you're called to do. Auburn had that last second field goal in overtime that could have carried on the game, but their kicker just came up short. But here's where faith steps in. You are more than a scoreboard. You're not a stat line. You're not your wins and losses. You are who Christ says you are, chosen, loved, valuable beyond performance. Your value isn't determined by your stats, your starting spot, or whether your jersey ends up in highlight reels. Your value is settled long ago on the cross. Philippians 3:13 and 14, Paul says, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." This doesn't mean ignoring a loss. It means don't live there. You learn from it. It doesn't mean ignoring the loss. Let it grow. Let it move you forward. Here's the thing. You can be challenged this week. After a loss, don't scroll social media. Don't isolate. Don't spiral out of control. Write down something you've learned. One thing that you'll change. One thing that you're thankful for. That's how you turn heartbreak into holy ground. Maybe it's about leadership. That little bit extra effort. Maybe it's about humility. Ask God. He'll lead you the right way. Lord, what are you showing me through this? Every setback can become a setup for growth if you let it. And coaches, let's be honest. When your team loses a heartbreaker, you carry that weight differently. You're responsible for hundreds of kids, dozens of decisions. You replay every second in your head. You don't just feel your own disappointment, you feel it for the whole team, the whole coaching staff, sometimes the whole fan base. You replay every decision, the play call you change, the timeout you did or didn't take, the moment you wish you could take back. But here's the truth. Your influence is greater than any single game. Your players are watching how you'll respond to adversity. If you show grace, humility, and perspective, they'll remember that even more. The story I mentioned last week where Peter fails and Jesus restores him in John 21 by asking, "Do you love me? Feed my sheep." That's leadership. That's grace. When your team loses, it's your chance to reflect Christ, to remind them that their purpose is bigger than their performance. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." You can prepare perfectly and still lose. But that doesn't mean God wasn't at work. Sometimes He uses the pain of defeat to shape character, to build unity, to refocus purpose. So practically, after a tough loss, gather your team. Don't start with stats or what went wrong. Start with gratitude. Ask, where did we see the effort? Where did we grow? And what did we learn? Then you can lead them spiritually. Remind them that their worth and calling is beyond this game. It's beyond this season. It's beyond the scoreboard. When you lead like that, you preach louder than any sermon. Your players will see faith in motion, not just in prayer circles, but in the way you handle pressure. All right, fans, come in close. We need to talk because you ride that roller coaster too. The joy of the big win and the sting of a heartbreaking loss. Because some of y'all were hurting this weekend. It's easy to take the passion and turn it into frustration. Believe me, I was struggling too. I'm still not over that loss on Saturday. Maybe it's at a coach. Maybe it's at a ref. Or maybe it's at a player. I texted my friends, Mike and Michael. We go to games together all season. We put hundreds, if not thousands of dollars towards a team. I vented in frustration. I probably said some things that I wouldn't say publicly, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what, we're all believers, and we all know that frustration comes from a passion of a game we love, from a team we love, from a school that we love. But remember, those athletes, those coaches, they're humans first. Many of them are 18, 19, young men, trying their best, dealing with the same emotions that we are. Romans 12:15 says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn." And that includes sports. If we're going to celebrate the big wins, we should show empathy in the losses. No cheap shots, no tearing people down online or social media. Athletes see what we say. Coaches hear it. Fans repeat it. And as believers, how we handle heartbreak says more about our faith than how we handle victory. So instead of venting in public, online, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, any other types of social media, pray for the team or the player. Instead of tearing them down, build them up. Instead of venting, speak life. Because how you respond as a fan reflects what kind of witness you are as a believer. And here's another truth. Jesus never loses. He's never lost a game. He's never lost a situation. Jesus has already won. The cross looked like defeat, but it was actually victory. Every time your team falls short, remember, I'm speaking to myself, it's just a game. But the way you carry yourself afterwards, that's eternal. So practically, next time your team takes a tough loss, take 60 seconds to reflect before reacting. Breathe. Pray. Then ask, What does my response say about who I follow? Do I follow the team or do I follow Jesus? Because we don't just cheer for teams, we represent Christ even in defeat. Like I said, heartbreaking losses hurt. Still hurts today, 2 days later, no doubt about it. But sometimes God uses them to reveal something deeper, who we are and who He is. When we hurt, we're reminded that He's close to the brokenhearted, as it says in Psalms 34. And when we feel defeated, we can look to the cross and remember the ultimate victory has already been won. So whether you're a player, a coach, or a fan, let your responses point others to Jesus, because the world sees your reaction, and in that moment, you can either reflect frustration or faith. Yes, or as a fan, or as a player, or as a coach. I can think of a few additional ones that I'll mention real quickly. One, when Mississippi State lost to Butler in the NCAA regionals here in Birmingham. That was the hardest game to walk out of. That basketball arena, let me tell you, I was so frustrated. I was so mad. I let it get the best of me. The second, and this one hits home to a lot of Mississippi State football fans, when we lost to Maine. Let me tell you what, not only did we lose that game, I came back to my truck and someone had stolen the cooler out of the back of my truck. Talk about frustration. I let it get the best of me. But thank goodness, I still follow a God and a Jesus who's already won. So leave some comments down there and let me know some frustration that you've felt. In this world, you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I'm Kevin with Red Letter Sports. Stay rooted in faith, play with purpose, and I'll see you next time.